Hi, and welcome to Manager Matt Podcast Show. I do hope you're keeping safe and well, and managing yourself and other people to get the best results you can and be truly successful. Now, over the next couple of weeks, I'll be away on annual leave, and I think you will all agree that there is time to recharge your body and your mind is one of the most important things we can all do. But I know you want to keep listening and maybe even enjoy the show on your holidays. So over the coming weeks, I'll be re-releasing my podcasts on the Big Five of management, the bedrock of what I use in management roles throughout my years in the business. It's been some time since we went through the Big Five, and to reinforce how important they are in successfully managing and leading the teams. I know some of you have already listened to the Big Five, and I'm sure you have listened to all my casts over and over again. That's right, isn't it? Okay, maybe not. But my listeners' habits mean that sometimes people come in and out of podcasts. And as it's over a year since we've actually recorded our first one, that's fine to have a bit of a recap and rebroadcast. So I think the Big Five casts will help you relearn, listen, revisit, and sometimes recycle some of the work that I've already done. As been seen by most of the emails I get about the show, a lot of you talk about the Big Five as being something that's really helped and support you. So it's a good idea for us to go through it again. But even though I'm away, please don't forget to drop me a line on whatever you've listened to and give me some feedback on how the show's going. You can get me at managermattpodcasts@gmail.com. And finally, before we start, the audio might sound a little bit different as the Big Five were recorded some time back. But please enjoy and let me know how they get on. So without further delay, here is the recap of the Big Five.
Welcome to the Manager Matt Podcast Show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Hi, and thanks for listening to the Manager Matt Podcast Show. If you're new to the show, then welcome. And if you're a long-time listener, well, welcome back. I'm always excited to have this opportunity to speak to you about the highs and lows of managing and how much rewarding it can be to be part of a management team. I hope over the coming months you get a chance to hear some actionable nuggets of inspiration and knowledge that will help you deliver results and run a successful and sustainable team. But first, I guess the big question is, if you're listening from the first time, is who am I? And why should you keep tuning in? Well, my name is Matt Haddock. I'm an experienced leader and have been a manager for over 26 years. I've managed to go through the different ranks of a business and have held a number of different positions in a number of very different industries. Currently, I'm a general manager of a middle to high size business leading a site leadership team. But prior to that, I've been an engineering manager, continuous improvement manager, a shift manager, and I've also been an engineer and a project manager. Going back a bit longer than I would like to remember, I left school with very much nothing. 2 GCSEs, one in chemistry and one in geography, if that helps. I became an engineer apprentice. I always loved doing things and making things work. Then I moved through the ranks, became a project engineer, before at 23 shifting into being a shift manager. A really big leap for somebody so young. I spent time doing a number of distance learning and educational courses and eventually did diplomas and did my degree and then eventually did a master's degree. I've done roles in textiles, printing, banking, tape production, and I'm currently working in the food sector, which is very fulfilling. I've led small project teams and larger teams, all with the aim of delivering results and driving improvements to the customer and to our workforce. Now, why did I start the podcast? I started the podcast to help others learn from me how good and bad tools and techniques can affect leadership, with some real life edge and a little bit of fun. There's lots of theory out there, and that's great. I love theory. I listen to books and read and listen to podcasts, and I try to get as much information as I can off the internet and learn from others. But I wanted a more down-to-earth, real-life examples of what works in management. I've now done more than 80 different casts, and I've put this podcast weekly on normal platforms so people can just understand and freely take in this information. So where to start? Well, the first place and the first thing I did when I started the podcast was talk about the 5 areas that I feel people learn the most from, and those are what I call the Big 5. So what are the Big 5? Well, the Big 5 are one-to-ones, feedback, delegation, coaching and empowerment. In my world, the Big 5 are the foundations of any good management practice. They are the best investment you can give yourself to grow and deliver results. You will also grow your skills and your potential as a manager. There's also big investments in growing your team by using the Big 5 to make sure they hit the target, deliver results and stay with you. And they're also the foundation of good ways of thinking about interactions with your peers and your boss to make sure you are rewarded and allowed to develop. Through the Big 5, these episodes I've put together will explain why each element works. I will guide you through the step-by-step action plans to implement and embed them. As always, I'll be telling real-life situations of when it does and sometimes doesn't work. So, over the next few episodes, you'll have an opportunity to listen to the Big 5 in depth. You'll be able to give details of how you can work them into your daily life and hopefully start seeing that process delivering results. And of course, as ever, I'm always really keen on hearing your thoughts on management, both around good and bad practices. So please send me your feedback. As I will say, as feedback is a gift. So please send it to me at managermattpodcast@gmail.com. I always answer every question myself and would love to engage on new topics or revisit old ones as we go through the process. Right, well that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thank you for listening and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.